Hey, what's up, guys? It is that bluesy guy here again with part 3 of Music Theory for the Lazy Guitarist, where I want to show you exactly what you need to know to start writing awesome songs and not one little bit more. Don't need to confuse you. Don't need to learn extra stuff that's not important. So here we go with creating major chord progressions. We've already covered how to create major scales. We've already created major chords, minor chords too. Now we're going to start putting the pieces together and forming progressions so that you guys can start writing songs. So just like creating major scales, every progression uses the same pattern. It's just like your whole, whole, half works for A, C, G, D. This pattern will work for A, C, G, D, any of the major scales. So what's that pattern? Well, major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished, major. Yes, you do kind of have to memorize this, although I will show you a cool trick here in a second for how to do it. But if you break this down, you have your 1, your 4, and your 5 are major chords. Your 2, 3, 6, everything else is minor chords. Your diminished chord, honestly, unless you're playing some jazzy stuff, you can pretty much ignore that. And honestly, if you're playing some jazzy stuff, you're probably not listening to me today. You're probably better at this than I am. So just think of it that way. Your 1, your 4, and your 5 are major. Everything else is minor, except for that silly diminished chord. So let's apply that to the C major scale. We already know how to create our C major scale with our whole, half pattern. So our notes are C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and back to C. So we'll apply our pattern, and we get C major, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor, B diminished, and C major. Pretty simple stuff. So this was that trick I was going to show you. Throw up your rock fist, get those metal hands up in the air, and look at those fingers. Fingers that point up are major, fingers that point down are minor, except for that silly diminished chord. So you got major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished, and back to major. I've never seen anybody else on the internet do that except me, so you're hearing it from me. If you see it from anyone else, you know the bluesy guy taught them. So we can pause right here if we really wanted to. With just this information that we've covered in lessons 1, 2, and 3, people have written millions of songs and made millions of dollars. Create your major scale using your whole, half pattern, apply the rock fist pattern, put the chords together in some cool way. Maybe you do 1, 4, 5, maybe you do 2, 6, 1, 4, maybe you do 5, 7, 1, 3. You just try them out, figure out which ones sound cool. Honestly, a lot of them are pretty standardized. You know, the blues is 1, 4, 5, jazz is 2, 5, 1. There's all sorts of stuff like that. Just Google it. You can find tons and just start playing around with them. Then you write yourself some awesome lyrics and an awesome guitar solo, and you're a rock star. It's pretty much that simple. Quick note about the guitar solo. So if we're creating a scale in G major, and all of our chords are from G major, I think you can safely assume that if you solo in G major, your solo will probably sound pretty cool. So think of it that way. Let's get a little deeper, though. Where do these chords come from? Well, remember back to lesson 2 where we were talking about creating chords. Every other note. So we start on C, skip a note to E, skip a note to G, and we've got our C major chord, C, E, G. Do the same thing with the next note, D, F, A. You've got D minor, D, F, A. E minor, same thing. F, I just want to pause here for a second, show you how this works. Again, our musical number line goes infinity to the left to infinity to the right. So we have F, A, we have to skip the B, we go back to number 1, the C, and we have F major. Same way for G major, you start on G, skip to the B, skip over C number 1, and go back to D. A minor the same way, A, C, E, and that B diminished chord, B, D, and F. Now minor chord progressions. This pattern nobody really memorizes. I'll show you a better way to get it down than just memorization. But there it is if you want to start playing around with it. Minor, diminished, and then you start your pattern. Major, minor, minor, major, major, minor. I'm going to show you a better way to do this when we get to relative minors in the next video. But write that down on a sheet of paper, pause it right here. You can start playing around with minor chords. Or I'm sorry, minor progressions. Sometimes on the internet, I just want to make this note, you'll see in forums people are using Roman numerals. We call these Nashville numbers. Uppercase means it's referring to the major chord, so uppercase IV is referring to the major fourth chord. A lowercase IV would be referring to the minor 4 chord. That'll help you out when you're Googling some stuff. I know that can be a little confusing. And that's about it. The next time we're going to talk about relative minor scales, how to create a minor scale from a major scale. And then we're going to talk about the coolest thing, the best little trick. Whoever came up with this in the year blah, blah, blah is a genius. The circle of fifths. It's the cheat sheet to writing music, and it's the best thing you'll ever learn, so look forward to that. Again, I'm thatbluesyguy@gmail.com. Feel free to hit me up with any questions, comments, concerns, or if you need a quick little lesson, I'll be happy to help you out. And of course, check us out on reddit.com/r/guitar. And I'll see you guys next time.